Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Oh, there I am. G'day curd nerds. Welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 227. That's it, yes. Well done. Lovely to see so many people here today. It's just amazing. I really enjoy your company. Thank you so much for being part of the Curd Nerd community. Now, I better introduce myself. I'm Gavin Webber, and I'm the host and Chief Curd Nerd, hoping to answer your home cheese making questions. That's what we're here for. Plus, you know, a little bit of joviality, I suppose, as well. So that's all good fun. Okay, of course, big thank you to all the financial members. Where is it? There we are. So all the financial members. We've got two new ones today. We've got Barbara and Colin. Thank you for being becoming members, of course, and you can see all the other YouTube members on the screen there. We've also got a swag of patrons as well. No new patrons this week, but you can see that there are many patrons that support the show. Now you can support the show as well. All you have to do is hit the join button down below, or there's a link to Patreon in the description of the video. Thank you very much for your support. Okay, so cheeses that we're going to be doing this week. Yesterday I made a Caerphilly style cheese using my 10-litre recipe, and it all worked out great. It's in the press. I've got to take it out. It's been pressing overnight. What I was going to do was put some stinging nettles on the outside and make something very similar to yarg, but with a bit more flavour. I've been told that it doesn't have a lot of flavour, the yarg from Cornwall. It's a cheese. But I know my Caerphilly does have a lot of flavour. It's lovely at 3 weeks. And that's due to all the salt that you put on the outside. So you put salt into the curds when you mill it, and then you rub salt every time you turn the cheese in the press. Now, problem is, the stinging nettles that I used, I picked them way too early. So I picked them yesterday. I should have picked them this morning because I blanched them and then they all started to dry up and shrivel. Question to everybody in the chat. Do I still release the video? I'm thinking maybe I've got to go look at my grapevines. They've just started to shoot leaves. Hopefully I might be able to grab some grapevine leaves and put them on the outside of the cheese. I want to put something on the outside of the cheese. So grapevine would probably work all right. Stinging nettles. A stinging nettle is something that stings you, and it's got a little leaf, and it's very tasty. May not grow where you are, Cheryl. So it seems to grow in very fertile soil. Now Tracy's got a little tip there from Cheeseman. It says for yarg, stinging nettles blanch and then freeze them. Well, I did blanch them, and I put them on some paper towel. And by the time I got to them, they were starting to shrivel, so I didn't freeze them. But yeah, good tip. And I saw your video, Tracy. I actually had this one planned a long time before you released yours, so I'm not trying to gazump you or anything like that. But yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. So I don't know. I've already got 2 Caerphilly videos up on the channel. I'll try and figure something out. I'll put something on the outside. Maybe I'll rub it with some smoky paprika or something like that. We'll see. Otherwise, it's a very simple cheese to make. And that leads me to the first question before we say hello to a few people. From the Deadly Bacon Man says, what is the easiest cheese to make for a beginner? Well, there's quite a lot. So paneer's very easy. Ricotta, whole milk ricotta is very easy. Halloumi's quite easy. Feta is a nice simple cheese. There's a great cheese called Yesterday's, invented by Tracy from cheeseneeds.com. There's a bit of a shout out for you, Tracy. So yesterday's cheese, you can eat it the next day, which is pretty cool. Guido's hard Italian cheese, matures in 3 weeks. And as I mentioned, Caffili. Caffili is ready in 3 weeks as well. So there you go. But let's say hello. I haven't said hello to people yet. So, first cab off the rank this morning, I think, was Bill. Hello, Bill. Lovely to see you, mate. We've already had a bit of a chitty chat. And Jim, same thing. Welcome. Next person was Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl. All the way in Florida. And Hayley. Hayley's new to the channel, and she wants me to recommend some books. We'll see if I can bring some up. Obviously mine. Michael and Jenny. Hello, Michael and Jenny. How are you? Evan Fitz. Paddy. Hello, Paddy. Just One Asbestos. Who else we got? John. Hello, John. Paul, of course. Umbrella. Hello, Umbrella. Who else we got? Bill, we've already said g'day to. Herb. Hello, Herb. Dare Challenger God. Cheese is good indeed. Wendy. Yes, long time no see. Thanks for coming and turning up. It's great. Mochi Bun. I saw you on Wednesday as well, which will lead me to the next subject. Hopefully we'll get to your question if it hasn't gone anywhere. Oh, well, it's just about to go out of the chat, so let's do that. Mochi Bun says, "Hi Gavin, I was heating some milk and my target temperature was 30, but the milk reached 42 and it took 60 to 90 minutes to cool. Do you have any tips on rapidly cooling milk? I tried using a frozen veg on the pot. Just pop it in a sink of cold water. That always works. But look, it doesn't matter. If you overshoot, then as long as you bring it back to the target temperature, just put the lid on, make sure nothing falls into it. Like mice or small children. I'm starting the jokes early, obviously. No fluff or anything gets into it. But yeah, you can let it cool back down again to the target temperature. But pop it into a sink of cold water. That always works. That gets it down quite quickly. Anyway, thanks for that. Anyway, I was saying g'day. Nicola, Kevin, X2X Studios, obviously Tracy from Cheese Needs, Deadly Bacon Man, where else we got? I think that's about it. Oh, Ian. Hello, Ian. And Jim. And Charlie. Hello. Right, we got lots of people. And also, didn't mean that to happen. Stop doing that. Also, we've got some little alerts that come up when we get new subscribers and new members and super chats and stuff like that. Even though we've got them across the top of the screen here, they're the latest. Even though that's not quite right, but Grant signed up a couple of weeks ago. But Jim was the last person that did a super chat, which was cool. All right, let's cue the funky music, shall we? Alrighty, lovely. I like a bit of funky music before we start asking questions. Now, I'm a bit all over the place this morning. Anyway, so that Caffili Yarg, I'll figure that out. We'll make something out of that. An Alpine Blossom, that I got to film the rest of that today, and we should be good to go. Now, I'm going to be doing some YouTube shorts. I don't know if people like short form content, but a lot of people seem to. And due to the amount of views that I'm getting on the channel at the moment, which is a lot less than I normally would, I'm going to try something a little bit different. So you may see in your shorts feed some YouTube shorts based on cheese, of course. It's all cheesy tips and hints and stuff like that. I've got a few ideas, so I'll do a few shorts. And I'm also thinking of doing some shorts over on the Gavin and Kim channel, which is Kim and I's vlog style channel, where we talk about things that we do. Anyway, that'll be cool. And then also we've got live streams on Wednesday as well now. So 2 live streams a week. 2 Ask the Cheesemans. Similar format. We don't have a gallery on Wednesdays, but we have some other stuff that we talk about, which is cool, but we do all the answering of questions and stuff like that. Bill says, have I had my coffee this morning? No, I should start. Maybe that'll fix it. Thanks, mate. So live streams on Wednesday, 8 p.m. my time. So for the UK, I think that's about noon. For Central Europe, that's about 1. South Africa, it's about 1, or Africa. There's a few time zones in Africa. But the good thing is, and also it's about 6 a.m. in New York time on the eastern seaboard of the US and Brazil as well. So we get most of Australia, most of Asia, or all of Asia, most of Europe, Africa, and a little bit of the east coast of North and South America. So that's just a second second option. And Tracy, you are so funny today. Gavin in shorts, YouTube shorts, not short. Well, in summer I wear shorts. It's bloody oddie, like it is in Texas. So Herb says. Anyway, so that's all my announcements today. At 30 minutes past the hour, obviously we're doing the what are we doing? We're doing the gallery. I got lots of photos for the gallery, including some from Patricia's recent trip, and I haven't seen her in the chat today. Patricia went to Paris and went to one of the world famous fromageries there. And she took a whole bunch of photos. So we're going to show those as well as some other cheese making photos sent in by home cheesemakers. So that'll be great fun. Okay, so let me see if I can get a lot of questions have gone past. So this is the first one I can see to add on the screen. Ian says, I accidentally added twice the rennet to a tilsit I'm making. Will this make the final cheese bitter? It could do, Ian, but tilsit's pretty forgiving as a washed rind cheese, because let me think. So I just add with the kefili that I just made. I know they're totally separate cheeses. I added double the rennet, which you do with that recipe. And that firms it up pretty quickly, lets it retain a lot more moisture, and that's what it'll do. It'll actually retain a lot more moisture. Tilsit ages pretty quick. I think it's about six weeks, if I remember rightly. 6 to 8 weeks. So it should be okay. If it was a long-aged cheese, then yeah, it may be bitter. So just persevere. I think it'll be okay, Ian. Okay, next question that's just about to shoot off the thingo, off me list. From Michael, says, hi Gavin, we're thinking of going away in the caravan for a couple of weeks. My mead wash cheese will need some attention during this time. Could I take it with us in a ripening box and leave it in the fridge? I can't see why not. I think that'll be fine, Michael. So do that. That should be good fun. Cheryl says, I'm preparing for the latest hurricane which may hit Tuesday. Should I do anything to save my cheese in the cheese cave? Well, hopefully you're okay when the hurricane hits, so take shelter and all that sort of stuff. You probably know the drill. Probably done it many times before, Cheryl. So what I'd do, I'd put it in the normal kitchen fridge. So I'd take it out of the cheese fridge because it's, if the power goes off, it's not going to stay cool enough. It'll get hot pretty quick. Put it in the kitchen fridge before the event, and then when the hurricane passes, put it back in the cheese cave. I think that'll be okay. I've done that before. As in my cheese fridge, I had to do some work on it, so I took all the cheese out, put it in the kitchen fridge, and then put it back in the cheese fridge. After I cleaned it, it took me about 2 hours to clean it, so that'll work. Okay. And Jim's got a good solution. A Jackery or other brand of portable battery will power the small fridge. Indeed it will. And there are quite a few on Amazon that are reasonably priced. I don't know. They're usually about $500 something, Australian anyway, I've noticed. But they're not cheap. But good luck. Stay safe. Evan wants to talk about salt. Let's talk salt, he says. Why do you use brine for some cheeses and rub salt in others? I've noticed you use each method for very similar cheeses. I'm making a Castle Blue today. Could I brine it? Yeah, you could. But it's probably best not to, because you'll change the structure of the cheese, the way it ripens as well. Those sort of cheeses need salt on the inside, so that's always a good thing. How did brining develop is probably a better question. And what happened in the for the countries that couldn't get salt, the inland ones, they used a lot of salt mines to find salt. Salt was very precious back in the early days when cheese making first developed. And around the Mediterranean, for sure, what they did, they took the seawater and they let it evaporate a bit to make a very saturated brine. They kept adding seawater to it, let it evaporate, so the salt built up. And as soon as they saw salt on the bottom of the pan with water in it, they knew that that was fully saturated, and that's what they put their cheeses in. That's how they developed brining cheeses. And brining works very well for a lot of hard cheeses. But the English took a different course and decided to put salt into the curds themselves. So that's the way they developed their cheeses. A lot of their cheeses have salt put into them. So they have totally different textures than what some of the European cheeses do, as you well know. So it does affect the texture, having cheese on the inside already, rather than brining. And brining is mainly used for cheeses that have been developed using a thermophilic starter culture, but sometimes it's used to brine cheeses with mesophilic, like feta and stuff like that. But all of those brined sort of cheeses, have a look where they're located. They're all located around the Mediterranean. So there you go. Anyway, I don't know if that answered your question, but I hope it did. All right. Elliot says, what country would you visit solely for cheese tourism? Well, there's 3, 4... Look, I do a tour of Europe. I know there's a lot of countries in Europe, so obviously I go to France and go and track down the places where they make these unique, amazing cheeses. I go to Italy, Spain, Switzerland, and I've been to most of those except for Spain. UK, always put that on the list. There's some fantastic cheeses out of the UK. Germany, there's some great, unique cheeses. In fact, you know, a lot of cheeses throughout Europe. And there's some fantastic cheeses in North Africa as well. Egypt and around the Levant area, Israel, around there, down around to Turkey, there's some amazing, unique cheeses. I wouldn't visit just one. There are so many cheeses to eat. So, yeah, great question though, Elliot. Thank you. Mochi Bun says, I was overdue to flip my camembert, and when I did, it was very sloppy. They fell apart, but luckily reformed after. Do you have any recommendations when this happens? Yes, turn them very carefully. Fell apart, very hard. Yeah, obviously it wasn't time to flip them. Now, all these flipping times within the recipes for camembert and the like are arbitrary. They're recommendations. So if you think that the curds have not firmed up enough, then don't flip them. Wait a little bit longer. It's not going to hurt the cheese at all. So as you learn the cheese making process, you'll figure out that, yep, oh, well, that's a little bit too sloppy. I wouldn't turn that just yet. Let it rest a little bit longer. It's all about common sense. So, yeah, that's my advice. Oh, okay. And Elliot's amplified a little bit more. And solely for cheese tourism, I meant if you are only going for cheese tasting events or something. Well, yeah, I think my answer stands. I go to all of them. if you're in Europe, Australia's far bigger than Europe is. So I'd say all the countries are so close together. A quick train ride and it'll be cool. Fred says, I live in Indonesia and would love a suggestion for dealing with the ambient room temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. Yeah, so Fred, obviously making the cheese would be no problem because most of the target temperatures for the cheeses are around 32 degrees Celsius anyway, so you're not going to have too much trouble heating your milk. I would... for the air drying, I'd put it into the cheese cave and air dry it at, say, 13 degrees Celsius. Probably best place for it. Wouldn't leave it on the side or anything like that. Our room temperature here in Australia, if we don't have air conditioning and insulation, all that sort of stuff, very similar, especially in summer. So, it can get up to 40 degrees outside, and inside it's about 25, 30. And yeah, I will still make cheese, but I'll just put the aircon on and do that. But yeah, air conditioning's your friend if you've got some, and that helps. But welcome from Indonesia. Elliot says, thanks for the answer. I need to look more into Levantine cheeses. Any other less well-known areas that you have a fondness for? Cheese culture is not very... prevalent in Asia per se. It's not very prevalent in Africa either, but I'd like to do some cheese places in the US. There's got a lot of artisan cheese makers there, and of course Australia. We've got a lot of artisan cheese makers popping up now, so that would be fantastic. Evan says, re-salt, kind of answered it. I was more asking about rubbing salt on the cheese as opposed to salt soaking in brine. Your Castle Blue has salt rubbed on it, not on the curd. Yeah, indeed. Sorry, yes. Yeah, some cheeses, there's three ways of salting cheese. So there's putting cheese into the curds, there's dry salting, which is rubbing salt on the outside, and it absorbs it. Soft cheeses are more prevalent to having that process, and harder cheeses, obviously brining is usually the norm, so... now, having said that, when I make camembert, or camembert style, then yes, sometimes I brine them, sometimes I dry salt them. I really haven't found any difference, except if I don't brine the camembert long enough, or I brine them too long, because they absorb salt so readily because they're so soft. The Castle Blue, you'll know how much salt you're putting on it. You don't want to put too much because the Penicillium Roque 40 doesn't like, massive amounts of salt. It's more tolerant than Penicillium candidum, but if you over brine it, then the fair chance that it's not going to grow. So, and the problem with brining also is if you've got lots of cracks and fissures in the cheese, you're going to get salt water in those cracks, and you need oxygen in there instead of the salt. So I don't think I'd do that with a blue. But great question anyway, Evan. Patty says, you mentioned visiting Germany for its unique cheeses. I was curious if you'd try the Milbenkars from the town of Werschwitz. I think that's how you say it. That's the mite cheese. Yeah, I actually would. So Mimelet's is based on the same sort of cheese, the one out of France as well. Now, we can't get it here in Australia because, they won't let cheese mites into the country for some reason. Who would know? But yeah, I would definitely try it because, there are some living mites on it. That's fine. They're not maggots. They're just little mites. I think the cheese would have an amazing flavour. So, yeah, Patty, I'd give it a go, honestly. Alrighty. Now, Tracy says she just travelled several hours to visit a cheese-making friend. Totally worth it. Indeed. If you've got cheese-making friends, it's always great to swap stories and recipes and techniques and eat cheese, and it should be so much fun. Kevin says, I left my Fundy Fog in the regular fridge for a bit longer, so part of the cheese is very soft and part of it is still firm, but the taste is excellent. So part of it left to the fridge, in the regular fridge a bit long. Yeah, look, it will get soft eventually. So yeah, I haven't got any left. I've eaten all mine. But yeah, near the end of it, it did start to soften, quite oozy. It was lovely. And when you cut into it, so yeah, great paste. So it's not as firm the longer you age it, obviously. Bill says, I saw a show on making commercial cheeses the other day. They seem to age the cheeses much quicker than we do. How do they speed up the aging process? Usually it's temperature control, Bill. They have a bit higher temperature than what we do. Now, commercial cheeses, yeah, they're trying to pump them out as fast as they can. You know, remember, the quality's not as good as artisan cheese making, and that's my humble opinion, of course. So, yeah, they try and make things as fast as they can so they can sell them as fast as they can. Yeah, it's all in the temperature control and the humidity. Mochi Bun says, does the flip time recommendations mean I can get a full night's sleep if the flip is due at 3 a.m? Yes, indeed it does. I often skip a flip in the middle of the night if that happens. It'll be fine till the morning. It's no big deal. We're not selling the stuff. We're making it for our own consumption. It'll be fine. Trust me. Okay. Arena? I think that's how you say it. I'm watching your channel for a while and enjoyed a lot. Is there any cheese you did not make yet? Well, everybody asked me to make casu marzu, so I'm never going to make that with the maggots and stuff, and it's illegal, and those Sardinians, they're funny. So no, I would never make that. That really stinky French cheese, what's that called? Epois, I think that's how you say it, with the one that smells so bad. I don't think I'll ever make that because I don't want Kim to divorce me. So I don't think I'll do that one. What other cheese? Stinking Bishop. That's pretty on the nose. Look, they taste fantastic, those cheeses. It's just the smell. It's all in the nose. Anyway, moving right along. Look, there are quite a few cheeses. I haven't even tackled cheeses from South America yet. I haven't even got there. Because of translation issues, Portuguese and Spanish don't speak either. And all the recipes coming out of that area, that continent, I can't read them. So it'd take a lot of research, I would think. And most of them are made with raw milk as well, which I can't get my hands on. Anyway, moving right along. Chris says, I'm curious, why does salt prevent bitterness in cheese that is aged? Well, what happens is the salt is a preservative, Chris, and it prevents the lactic bacteria from going feral and eating all the lactose in the cheese. So that's why there's a time to add the salt, and it stops the acidification. So stops the lactic bacteria eating the lactose, and stops them from creating things called peptides, which cause the bitterness. Yeah, that's it. And salt's a normal preservative and stops the milk from going rotten as well as it ages. Fred says, do you have a recipe? Oh, that's time for the gallery, but we'll answer Fred's question. Do I have a recipe for Havarti? Indeed I do. Now, Fred, if you ever want to find a recipe on the channel, let me just show you. We can do this on the gallery page. So here we go. Here's the gallery. Not the gallery. Here's the gallery. Here's my channel. What am I doing? I don't even know what day it is. Right. To find anything. See this on the channel page. There's a little searchy bar here. See? And we put the name of the cheese in. And bingo, boingo. There it is. There's the recipe for Havarti. Just there. Perfect. Lovely. So you can do that too. So if anybody wants to find any cheeses, without me having to do all the work for you. Yeah, just go to the channel page, use that little search function. So many people don't even know it's there. All you do is go to the channel page, type in the cheese that you want the recipe for, and guess what? Most of the time, it'll be there. So that's cool. All right, yeah, let's get into the gallery, shall we? It's time. Let's kill the music for now, and we'll get to the gallery. Let me see, will that be the right size? Whoop, there we go. Let me have a look. Hey, there we go. So, got quite a few cheeses and lots to talking. So this one's from Costanzo and says, Gavin, this is my Parmesan made 4 weeks ago. It was in the ripening box every 2 or 3 days. I cleaned it with a 18% brine solution. There were black dots. They're under the rind. Is the cheese still good? What can I do to remove them before I vac pack to age it for a year? Thank you for all the help and knowledge you have given me. Costanzo. Okay, so look, that's kind of natural for those sort of... The cheese looks very dry, though. I don't think the humidity was probably high enough. But those black dots, they're nothing to worry about. It's not like it's mold all over the cheese or anything like that. And it's only on the rind. It's not going to be in the cheese itself. So, what I suggest, and I've already replied back to Costanzo, is to rub it with some olive oil. So I do that a couple of times a week for about 3 to 4 weeks. And that'll settle down all that mold. And you may even find that you get a general browning of the outside of the cheese. The colour of the cheese will change on the rind. But once that's done, then, and that's to help it from drying out anymore as well. The oil prevents the moisture from escaping, which is a good thing. And then, yeah, vacuum pack it. Now, I think there might be another picture. Yeah, there it is. There's the top-down view. So you can give that a good scrub, and that does come off. I've seen cheesemakers have really gnarly-looking cheeses, and to clean them up just before sale, they use a proper scrubbing brush and brine, and just scrub the cheese all over if it's got a decent firm rind, and that gets rid of it. It just goes. So wiping it won't work. You've got to scrub it, and it all comes off. And yeah, as I said, use that oil technique and you should be good to go. Okay, the next picture I think is from Habib. Let's have a look. There we go. Yep. So that's from Habib out of Lebanon. It says, Dear Gavin, I want to share my first Pecorino Romano photos that I made 12 months ago using your recipe. It was aged with a natural rind for 3 months with a few olive oil rubs until a thick dry rind developed. Then I vacuum packed it to stop it from drying any further. Good idea. When I opened it, it was quite dry and crumbly, as I suppose it should be. The taste was amazing. I'm going to start hiding quarters, as you suggested before, for ultra-long aging, hidden in the bottom of my cheese cave, along with many other quarters. I want to thank you for your videos and live stream. What a great community of sharing ideas and knowledge in cheese making. I will be sharing my custom-made cheese press later on this week, so I would love to have some ideas and comments. Best regards, and cheese, Habib. Thank you, Habib. That's amazing pecorino. You can even see, I don't know if can we get in any closer? Let's have a look. On the outside, tyrosine crystals for a long-aged cheese. Beautiful. And I think there's another shot. There it is. Look at that in the middle. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Well done, Habib. That is an amazing looking cheese. So, next one is... Oh, I think this is from Jennifer. And Jennifer has appeared on the show before, Jennifer Murch. Beautiful looking cheese. This says, Good morning, Gavin. Just 3 photos for you today. 3's fine, Jennifer. The first is Dil Havati. It's fine, but not spectacular, not even close. I'm having trouble with all my cheeses not being creamy and soft enough. I'm going easy on the rennet and sometimes using full-fat Jersey milk, but even so, the cheeses are often a little too dry and hard. Sometimes, though, the cheeses are wonderfully soft and creamy, and it bugs me that it's so hit and miss. There's nothing quite like a creamy, soft Howder or Colby or Jack. Anyway, just putting this out there in case you have any suggestions. Should I add more cream? No, I think you should stir less. There's not enough moisture in the cheese. Stir less. Cut the curds bigger, and you'll get a moister cheese. Bigger as in just a little bit bigger than what you normally do. But yeah, and your cheese will be less dry. And watch the acidity. The higher the acidity of the cheese, the crumblier and drier it becomes. Right, the next two photos. So this is Jennifer making some cheese. The second and third photos are of Cuajada. Oh, I can't. It's Cuajada, which is a Nicaraguan fresh curd cheese. Cuaja means to set or to coagulate, and this is the cheese we ate all the time when we were living in Nicaragua. I filmed the process, and the video is going to be live on Tuesday on Jennifer's channel. If people want to see it, just go search for Jennifer Merch. It takes about an hour to make from start to finish, and since it's low tech and hands-on, it's a great cheese to make with kids. The third photo is the Cuaja. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. We eat it with beans and tortillas, eggs and salsa, etc. It's so good. All the best to you, my friend Jennifer. It does. That looks lovely. That looks like a nice breakfast. I hope the cheese is salty. I love a good salty fresh cheese. But absolutely lovely. Rightio. The next one is from Jenny and Michael. There is a spiel. Where is it? Jenny and Michael. Here we go. There's a couple of photos. So it says, "Hi Gavin. Jenny Sherv, which she made during the week. She tried a few flavour combinations, and her favourite was adding raspberries and maple syrup to the plain Sherv." So there's a few versions here. This is not the one she likes, obviously. So smoked salt Sherv. I think that'd be pretty nice. Pretty goaty. Mixed peppercorn Sherv. Now you can't see the words. Hang on, I'll just move my head out the way. There we go. So mixed peppercorn Sherv. That one would be lovely and spicy. And then I think this one says smoked salt and chive and garlic. So yeah, that looks amazing. I love it. Great cheese. Alrighty. The next one is also from Jenny and Michael, and he goes on to say that I decided to have a go in making a marble cheddar as you described in your video. A little bit of work in making the cheese and stirring both pots. And for some reason, the pot with the annatto in it had 125 grams more curd in weight than the plain pot, and had a thicker set. Weight of the cheese was 1.655 kilograms. Jenny decided to call the cheese Gav's Aussie Marble Cheddar. Very cool. Thanks, Jenny and Michael. That's a lovely looking cheese. I really do love a good marbled cheddar. And the curds knit together so well. It's really good. Well done, Jenny and Michael. Okay, the next one. Oh, this is Patricia's trip. Let me just put my head back where it was before. Rightio. Now we got a spiel. It's War and Peace. Let's have a go. See if I can get this done. Okay. Says, "Hi Gavin. Hope you and Kim are well." Yes, we are. Thank you, mate. Nova Scotia is expecting a visit from Hurricane Fiona this weekend, so I anticipate not being part of Sunday's chat unless our power actually stays on. Now, I haven't seen her, unless she's there somewhere lurking, but no, I haven't seen her. Anyway, so rather than sending along pictures of my own cheese, I thought you might like some photos I took during our wine and cheese tour in Paris last week. I found a wide variety and originality of these cheeses were quite inspirational, and the flavours of the ones we got to taste at the end of the tour were out of this world. It says the first 6 photos were taken at the cheese shop that provided the cheese for tasting. The first shows the awning and exterior display cases of Fromagerie Laurent Dubois. Monsieur Dubois holds the distinction of, oh goodness me, French words, MOF, Milliner, oh, I can't say it. Anyway, something in France. A unique and prestigious award in France in accordance within a given category and trades of craft. As a cheesemonger, he selects exceptional cheeses from every imaginable category and then ages them to perfection on his site. I found it intriguing that in France, cheesemonger is a recognised craft. So this is a picture of the shop. You can see all that there. Let's have a look. Can I make it a bit bigger so we can see the window? Here we go. There we go. Look at these cheeses on the outside. Do I spy a mimolette from hell? Look at the size of that. And there's something wrapped in straw or something. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, we've got some other pictures from the outside of the shop. Oh, there it is. Why did I do that? There's a closer one there. Can I see what the names of the cheeses are? Let's have a look. No, it goes a bit too blurry. And I probably couldn't pronounce them anyway. That's my problem. Oh, that is mimolette. There you go. Look, they've even got bits without the rind. How good's that? Just in that little bit there. Anyway, very nice. Okay, there's another one. So this is the other counter. And this one here, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but this one here, this is Roquefort, and I think it's quince jam or quince paste. So it's kind of sandwiched into like a triple layer thing. Really, really cool. So that is spectacular. And there's some like herby ones there and bits of cheese. There's some Comte up there. I'm not sure what the other ones are. I can't. Can I get in any closer? Oh, there's a pesto there. There's some chowder there. There's some mimolette bits there. Another gouda there. Chowder. Mystery de chèvre. So that, I don't know. It's a mystery cheese. I don't know. There's some all sorts of bits and walnuts and oh my goodness. These are ones they actually take the original cheese and they actually put stuff on them or manufacture them themselves. I actually, and this is a Brillat Savon with truffles as well. So, yeah, crazy cheeses. They're fantastic. Alrighty, so where's me jobby? There we go. Now there's some more. That says here, right? So that's the cheesemonger's stuff. Second photo, the unmistakable intense orange and mimolette displayed next to cheese mixed with nuts, and next to 3 tomes, which are aged in hay. Ah, it was hay, not straw. The third is a case of random cheeses. Wish I could make out the labels. The fourth is a selection of blues, including Stilton, Shropshire Blue, Gorgonzola Dolce, and Forme d'Ambert. The fifth, oh, all right, so we got some Forme d'Ambert down here. Lovely. You got some Shropshire Blue. Oh, very similar to the colour of mine. Mine's a bit more orange. Can't really tell what that one is. And Gorgonzola up the back. That'd be quite soft. Very nice. Very nice. Right, next. I feel like a little kiddie in a cheese shop. This one here, this bullet? Yeah, that's bullet in English. Davens S, oh my goodness, is a raw cow's milk cheese flavoured with tarragon and paprika. I found the shape of the cheese as well as the described flavour to be especially interesting. Yeah, that looks amazing. So bullets, cheese bullets. And there's some St. Marcel on there. Says the 6 shows bloomy rind raw cow milk cheeses including St. Marcelin. And yeah, they're ones you eat with a spoon. That's what the little I don't know if it's pine. I don't know what it is these days. Could be even bamboo. That they wrap around the cheese because it's so runny. And they don't want it to split out everywhere. There's even some brie up the top. How good's that? And the final photo, well, there we are. This is the final photo. It says Shows the cheeses we actually got to sample from left to right. There's Comte AOP cow's milk, Osuarati AOP sheep's milk, Forme d'Ambert AOP cow's milk, Grand Moulines, I think I said that wrong, goat's milk flavoured with thyme infusion, and Saint Nectaire AOP cow's milk, and Brie with cow's milk. The flavours of these cheese blew my mind. I only wish you could have been there to sample them with me. All the best, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. They do look great. Fantastic looking cheeses. I would have loved to be there. I'd love to go on a cheese tour. That'd be so special. Alrighty. Thank you, Patricia. Appreciate it. The next one, this is from a good friend, Ron Pigford. Now, Ron, it's the last photo of the day. It says, "Hi, Gavin. Trust you and Kim are in good health." Indeed we are. I could not help myself. I had to take this photo to show you the state of my cheese cave from left. Port Salut atop of a white Stilton. Okay, so that's the Port Salut. That's the Stilton in the foil. Next half is double Gloucester on 2 vacuum sealed Bel Paises. Nice. And then we've got a tome on top of my own cheese recipe, Formaggio Speciale. Okay, I'd love you to share it with me, Ron. And then 3 camemberts, which we're currently consuming and have given some to my daughter. The camembert is just so delicious and a stable cheese texture. They look amazing, mate. Each of these cheeses are using raw cow's milk. The texture and flavours are outstanding. I hope you enjoy this photo. Regards to you and Kim. Ron. Thanks, Ron. I hope Judy's well as well. Yeah, fantastic looking cheeses. Well done, mate. And, yep, you're going to... I don't know how long it's going to take you to eat them all, but they look fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, if you want to... thank you to everybody who sent some in. Now, if you want to send in some photos, let me just show you how. So, you go to the channel. This is the first place. One-stop shop. We go to the About tab. And down here, it says details. For business inquiries, sign in to see email address. So that's where you can find my email address, where you can send me the photographs of your cheese. Or cheese that's not going quite right and you want to ask a question about it. So the gallery goes for quite a long time. Today I went for 20 minutes. That's crazy. So I will get to some more questions in a second. But I've got some more photos on Wednesday from a fellow cheesemaker up in New South Wales, Brendan Heffernan, who's got some fantastic looking cheeses. So if you want to watch the Wednesday show, there'll be more gallery photos. I just couldn't add them in. I didn't want it to go over time today. Okay, so yeah, so that's where you go. You go to the About tab on the channel, Gavin Weber, cheeseman.tv, and you sign in down here. Now, I'm not logged in. You've got to be logged into your Google account, whether that be Gmail or whatever you're using, and that will work just fine. So thank you, everybody, for sending in all of your photos. Just beautiful. Okay. Have we got time for some more questions? What time is it? Oh, yeah, we've got 10 minutes. Rightio. So, let's have a look. Do I have... Right. Here, Kevin's got a question. Says, if you have any recipes in Spanish or Portuguese, somehow if you can get them to me via email, I can get them translated. I think I might have your email address, Kevin. But shoot me an email anyway, just using the link I just showed you. And I think I do have 1 or 2 that may be. But they are all over the net. I've got to find some more. But thank you so much for your kind offer, mate. Appreciate it. Okay. Lots of people saying hello still. I think they're coming in late. Big Bear says, can you make Danish blue cheese, please? Yeah, like a Castello. I think that's what you call it. Let me just write that down. I think I have a recipe for it somewhere. I'll check it out. I haven't made that. I don't think I have anyway. But yeah, that's a good idea. Just One Asbestos says, Mimolette from Hell is my new horror film. Yeah, those little cheese mites. I think they brush most of them off. You might get one or two. It's no big deal. Tracy says, I bought some Mimolette. It's waxed in Canada, so the mites die before import. I haven't tried it yet. Apparently it's pretty good. So you got to give it a go. Evan says, I was lazy with my last camembert and left it in a box instead of wrapping it. Some of the mould has gone orange. Oh, goodness me. I'm going to scrape it and eat it anyway. Am I going to die? No, you won't die. It's probably just Brevibacteria linens. And if it starts to smell a bit like smelly socks, it's definitely Brevibacteria linens. So, yeah. Not a big deal. Scrape it off. It may be oozy underneath because both those moulds, Brevibacteria linens and Penicillium candidum, do soften the paste. So yeah, you may get a bit of a serendipitous surprise there, Evan. So that'll be cool. Bill's just saying, great looking gallery. The cheese. Thank you so much, Patricia. I know you reckon there's a hurricane coming. But when you watch it in the replay, I hope you do, thank you so much for sending those photos in. It was like I was going on the tour with you, honestly. It was just lovely. Thank you so much. Just One Asbestos says, this old chestnut. What's your favourite style of cheese to make? What's your favourite style of cheese to eat? Well, the one to eat, all the cheeses. I love all the cheeses. That's my standard reply, and I do. There isn't a cheese I've met besides processed cheese that I haven't liked. So, favourite style of cheese to make? Depends on what mood I'm in, I suppose. If I want to get really technical, I like making the washed rind cheeses. They take a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of attention. If I'm in the mood to make a nice, simple, easy cheese, like I did yesterday when I made kefili again, that process was a breeze. That's probably because I've made it about 10 times before, but it was so... The cheese making day was just so relaxing. There was nothing to worry about. I've made the cheese before. And it's going to taste great. I know it is. Beautiful milk, beautiful cheese. Okay. Medieval Knievel. Great name. How much difference does using unhomogenized milk make when compared to homogenized? Unhomogenized isn't always available where I live. Is it worth waiting for, or should I just crack on? Look, I'd just crack on. There is a flavour difference, mark my words. And there is a texture difference in the final cheese. So if you don't know homogenization, what they do is they squirt the milk at high pressure through a very micro mesh filter, and that breaks up the fat globules and stops them from rising to the top. Because with unhomogenized milk, you get a cream line on the top. The cream floats to the top. So what they're trying to do is distribute the cream all the way through the milk, like it does in goat's milk. Goat's milk, the cream doesn't float to the top. You've got to extract it. When using homogenized milk, it's harder to set a curd because of that fact. And the flavour's a little bit different. Not that much, but you'll find with homogenized milk, they also remove a bit of the cream, so they standardise it. That's why pasteurised homogenized milk is standardised milk. You'll see most of the labels on those milks will say between 3.25 and anywhere up to 3.6% fat, whereas normal cow's milk is a lot higher than that. With Holstein Friesian cows, it's 3.8. With Jersey cows or brown Swiss, it's about 5%. So you're getting ripped off. They're skimming cream off your milk anyway. So there's going to be a lot less fat in the final cheese. So yeah, but look, just crack on. Just practice. When I first started making cheese, even before I started videoing them, I was using pasteurised homogenized milk. A, because I didn't know any better, and B, I couldn't get my hands on unhomogenized anyway at that stage of the game. back in 2009. There wasn't a heck of a lot of people producing that in my area. So I just used pasteurised homogenised and made some pretty good cheeses. Certainly ones that my family ate. They loved it. So, yeah, no problems at all. But if you want to make superior cheeses, then raw milk or unhomogenised. And the caveat with raw milk is just make sure that you trust where the source of the milk. That's all I'm saying. If they do a strict testing regime, then that's fantastic. And if it's your own cattle, then yeah, you trust yourself. But if it's from an unknown source, then yeah, I would low temperature long hole pasteurize the milk before I used it. Okay, Cookie Cat says, speaking as a casual cheese enjoyer / newbie, is there a risk to your system once you jump into it? Yeah, cheese overload. That's the rest of the system. You want to learn everything that is learnable about cheese making. Well, that was for me anyway. I'm one of those guys that I'll read so many books about cheese making. I forgot the music just before we finish. So many books. I got so many books, and there was no videos about cheese making at the time, which is one of the reasons I started the channel as well. But yeah, you'll want to learn so much. Go watch all the videos. That always helps. Go watch the videos. Thank you, Cookie Cat, for watching. Okay. And we are nearly out of time. I'll do 2 more questions. Just one especially says, is goat's milk much different to work with? Yes. Yes, it is. You use a little bit less rennet. And if you're using raw goat's milk, then make sure you add a little bit. And same for any raw milk, just use about 25% less culture, sometimes up to 50%. But you'll figure it out as you go along if you find that the cheese is too strong. Paul, thank you so much for the super chat. And you got the Curd Nerd like going, $20. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, mate. Says, hi Gavin, are there concerns in shipping my cheese out to people, friends and family? Special packaging, sending this so you have at least one super chat today. Mate, fantastic. Thank you so much. Any concerns? Yeah, look, if it's a hard cheese and it's winter, then you're going to be fine. All the cheesemakers, when they send you stuff, they have it in cryo packaging. So they'll have those gel packages and stuff like that that are cool gel packs, and they put the cheese in that. And they express ship it. So express ship it overnight, and it'll get there fine. But thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate the super chat before we finish out the day. That's okay. Okay. Now, good one. Next weekend, what is it today? It's the 25th. Yeah, it must be next. Yeah. Michael says, Gavin, don't forget daylight savings next Sunday. So it's spring here, so we will go forward an hour. So the times may change. So the Wednesday show will be fine. That'll be the normal time, 8 p.m. my time. The next week will be maybe an hour earlier or an hour later. I'm not sure, wherever you are. But just go to the live page and you will see. Can I do the live page? I'm pretty sure I can. 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and we will get up the live page. And this is the go-to page. It's probably happening already. Let me just copy this and put it into the chat. Where's my chat? This is the page you're probably watching anyway. But yeah, there's the live page there. If you go to that, then can I show it? Yeah, there we go. So there's the live page, and there'll be when it's scheduled. So just click the notification button, and it'll tell you about, I think it's 15 minutes beforehand before the live stream starts, and you won't miss it. But yeah, the time zone's going to change for me, but I will still do it at 8 a.m. my time. So for those in Australia, you'll be fine. Don't worry about that. Okay, cool. All right, so that's it today. Now, don't forget, I'll get rid of that. Don't forget that if you want to learn how to make cheese, then you can pop over to the Curd Nerd Academy. Just go to courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au and you'll see my beginner's course there. And if you want to get any cheese making supplies, then yeah, of course, pop over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and we ship to many, many countries. And merch, of course. I've got lots of merch. T-shirts and books and all that good stuff. You can pick it up at cheesemantv.creator-spring.com. I'm working on a better domain for that. I'm thinking of merch.cheeseman.tv. We'll figure that out. Anyway, that's what it is at the moment, unfortunately. Or you can click on the merch shelf down below. Hopefully it's there on the YouTube merch shelf. Anyway, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. And I will see you next time. Great stream. Thanks.